What's up guys, and welcome to the channel. It's Joanna here, founder and CEO of Supwell, and today I'm back with another preview and market analysis. This time we're going to take a look at the Adizero Adios Pro Evo 1. Now, aside from having an extremely long name, this is Adidas's latest crack at a marathon racing shoe. So today I'm going to dig into the specs and give you some more context about how we should be thinking about this shoe within the landscape of overall marathon racing shoes. All right, let's get into it. So first off, Adidas is positioning this as their top tier marathon racing shoe. If we look at other brands lineups like Saucony, for example, they have the Pro 3 and then they have the Endorphin Elite. In the Nike range, we have the Vaporfly and then we have the Alphafly. So it's not uncommon for brands to take these two racing shoe approach and to have a bit of price differentiation between those. In the Saucony lineup, we see that Endorphin Pro priced at $225 and then their top tier Elite at $275. In the Nike range, we see the Vaporfly at $250 and the Alphafly at $275. So here in the Adidas range, they're dropping this Pro Evo 1 at a price of $500. But let me tell you, that is not going to be the price that we see on this if it does get a wider release in the market. So this is getting a limited initial release of 500 pairs, and it's really designed to be that prototype or that development shoe for those elite athletes who are racing marathons over the next year. But they're also opening it up to the public so that a few people can try it as well. So what is the Pro Evo 1? So this is a hyper lightweight marathon racing shoe. It's coming in at 4.8 ounces for that US men's size 9. To give you some context here, the standard Adidas Pro 3 is coming in at 7.6 ounces. So that is a pretty significant weight savings. Basically 40% weight savings with this new model. Adidas's lightest racing shoe right now is this Takumi Sen. It comes in at 6.2 ounces, which is significantly more than we're seeing in that 4.8 ounce Evo. In terms of the other specs, they still are using those energy rods like we see here in the Takumi Sen, but carbon fiber in the Evo like we have in the Pro 3. And they're also using a similar stack height. So there's gonna be 39 millimeters of foam in the heel, 33 millimeters of foam in the forefoot for a 6 millimeter drop. Alright guys, so let me run down all the changes on this. So starting from the bottom of the shoe, they're using what's called a liquid rubber outsole. So if you take a look at the standard Adidas racing shoes, I'm holding the Takumi Sen right here, they use this Continental rubber in a traditional application. It is sourced from that tire manufacturer, so it's a very grippy compound, very lightweight, but they're going with something called a liquid rubber outsole. Now you'll see in the picture here, it has this kind of ripply effect. Next, if you look at the midsole, they're using that same Light Strike Pro, but it's a different manufacturing process that's trading durability for weight. So that's going to be the overall theme of the shoe. They're stripping back a lot of the elements that go into standard racing shoes like the Takumi Sen or the Vaporfly and exchanging those for weight savings, and that's how we're getting to that 4.8 ounce weight. That foam in the midsole has not gone through a compression molding process, which means it's going to be a bit airier, a bit bouncier. By the way, shout out to Believe in the Run because that's where I got that piece of info. And the other main change in the midsole here is that they've changed the rocker position. Now, if we take a look at the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 and the Nike Vaporfly 3, you'll see that they have slightly different rocker setups. So in the Vaporfly, you'll see the rocker starts right about here, and then the Pro 3 is starting about here, a bit more forward in the shoe. What the Adidas Evo is doing is it's moving that rocker really far back to almost the midfoot point of the shoe. In that Believe in the Run video, they said the 60% point of the shoe. So that should give more of a rolling feeling when you're landing and more of an aggressive feeling. This is reminding me a lot of that Saucony Endorphin Elite, which has an extremely aggressive rocker. So while they're not introducing anything extremely new into the shoe, they're making these 10% incremental improvements to almost every single element of the shoe, which is adding up to a faster and lighter package. And that's really the main thesis of this shoe. There's no single point of innovation that's driving the category forward here. They've just found ways to squeeze efficiencies out of every single point of material, manufacturing, and overall packaging of this shoe. So from the rubber to the midsole to the upper to the rocker, all of these things existed already. They didn't innovate the game with any of these elements. Maybe that liquid rubber is a new innovation, but again, it's not going to be very durable, so I don't think it's going to be scaled across the market. But they found ways to squeeze efficiency out of every single point of the shoe that's adding up to this 4.8 ounce and really fast package. the main question is, what will this shoe do for us recreational runners who are really into the technology and getting the most performance out of our runs, but not necessarily going to be squeezing as much efficiency out of the shoe as Adidas's pro athletes can? Now, I think we'll have to wait and see until some more testing is done, but for me personally, I find that I'm a bit less sensitive to weight, and because I'm not a professional athlete, there are so many more variables that go into my performance than just the weight of my shoe. For example, did I sleep well the night before? Were my kids stressing me out? Was my job stressing me out? Those little 5% to 10% differences in the cortisol level and the sleep that I get add up to a lot more of the performance and results that I get than what shoe I have on my feet. For example, this morning I did a 6-mile half marathon pace workout in the New Balance Rebel, which is a non-plated shoe, very low stack, and I set my 10K PR actually during that run because I was fueled up, I slept well, and I wasn't stressed. So I think for us recreational runners, a lot of us will probably not get the most benefit out of this shoe. It really is a cool piece of technology, and I'd be interested to see how it does, but probably not going to be the most impactful piece of tech that comes out for us. Where I do think a lot of the innovation that can help us recreational runners is, and I've said this in a few other videos, is those plated training shoes, which help increase recovery, which help take some of the stress off our bodies, make it a bit easier to run. That's probably where we can get the most benefit, for example, in that Primex Strung 2 or something like the Hoka Mach X. So brands are also pouring some development dollars into there, and that's that segment of shoes that's really gonna help us take our game to the next level. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is this is not going to be a replacement for the Pro series. Now, the Pro is still gonna be there. It's gonna compete with the Vaporfly. It's gonna compete with the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. And like I mentioned, both of these shoes also have counterparts that sit at the top of the range that are a bit different in price. As Adidas works out the kinks with this Evo, if they scale it out to a wider release, I'd anticipate, one, that the price would come down maybe to the 300 range, and two, that they would still keep that Adidas Pro shoe that's gonna be more durable than we're seeing in the Evo. Because this Evo is really designed to last for one marathon and nothing else beyond that. And at that $500 price point, that is not a shoe that's gonna have mass market appeal for the 3 stripes. All right, guys, I hope this gave you some more context around the Evo. This is a really exciting shoe. I love to see Adidas pushing things forward. Even if we're not seeing any step change innovation in this model, there are some cool elements that I think will be great to see scaled across the market. Maybe that lighter weight, if we can get those 5%, 10% innovations across other shoes, maybe we'll see the next edition of the Vaporfly be in the 5-ounce range. Who knows? All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll make sure to keep you up to date on the latest and greatest in the world of performance running.